Welcome to the Introduction to the Quantum Laboratory. This video is designed just to give you a brief overview of everything available in the quantum laboratory. If you would like more specifics on these experiments and the things you can access here, please check out our playlist on Vimeo. The first thing to note in the quantum laboratory is we have a spectrum chart that you can click on and view in a bigger window, as well as a link to the lab book, which will send you to the lab book on the system tray here. And then, of course, your live data screen and the stockroom screen. The most helpful thing in the quantum laboratory will most likely be presets, as we often see people would like to do classic experiments. So, for example, if I were to click on Rutherford backscattering, you would notice that it would set up the Rutherford experiment for me, where I can manipulate the phosphor screen, I could change the identity of the metal, or if I really wanted to, change the source of the particles. So to save information, if you see a save screen button or a save data button, it will save that screen or data to your lab book the instant you click the button. With the phosphor screen, you can also persist the screen and add a grid, as well as or turn on and off the alpha particle source and turn on and off the phosphor screen. Another classic experiment here with our Thomson experiment, you'll notice again phosphor screen, where we can manipulate the electric field and magnetic field to see how it affects the beam of electrons. Again, I can save the screen at any point. And let's go ahead and look at, for example, our milk and oil drop experiment. And you'll notice with the camera, again, save screen, we can persist or move in slow motion if you would like. We have a timer here and places to manipulate the tools. So let's just go through, and if you want to clear the lab, you can click the reset button on the wall or the clear lab button down at the bottom. But here are the different sources and samples, detectors, and modifiers in our lab. So we have, for sources, an alpha particle, a super bulb, an electron gun, or a laser. For samples, you can use an oil mist, a two-slit apparatus. For metals, you can select a sheet of metal of any of the metals listed here. For gases, you can select any of the gases here if you would like to do spectra on those gases. For liquids, you can select any of the liquids here. We've added a new crystal violet sodium hydroxide mixture that allows you to perform a kinetics experiment. For detectors, we have a phosphor screen, a bolometer, a diode, a spectrometer, and a video camera, as well as modifiers, a magnetic field, an electric field, and heat. Another just quick example, if we wanted to look at, for example, the photoelectric effect, then you can see we have phosphor screen, sodium metal, and then a laser that we can manipulate. As well, if we want to look at photo emission, you can see we have our spectrometer and our gas in question, where you can view and see the spectra here. If you click and drag on a spectra, it will zoom in to that point on the graph where you can get more detailed information. If you hover over one of the peaks, it will show you the wavelength as well as the intensity of that peak. You can adjust viewing wavelength and frequency, as well as the full or the visible spectra of the elements in question. That is just a brief overview of everything that can be done in the quantum laboratory. Feel free to come in and explore yourself and see what famous experiments you can recreate, as well as what experiments you can do on your own.